Bulgaria might not be the most obvious destination for digital nomads, yet once they've been there, many of them just can't help but keep returning. It is not as crowded as many other digital nomad destinations, but has a very strong community with one of the biggest digital nomad events happening there every summer, the Bansko Nomad Fest. It is also much more affordable than many places in Europe, has great weather, super friendly locals and fantastic foods. Plus, it is one of the oldest countries in Europe, making it a paradise for history buffs. Speaking about paradise, Bulgaria's nature is just that. Sunny beaches by the Black Sea, jagged mountain peaks, lush green valleys, anything you could ask for. And the best part? Bulgaria is small enough that you can actually discover the entire country in a couple of months if you like. Not to mention its beautiful cities, such as Sofia, the capital that effortlessly merges history and modernity. Plus, Bulgaria offers all the infrastructure you need to live your digital nomad lifestyle. And while it might not officially be called a digital nomad visa, Bulgaria does offer a long-stay visa option that is suitable for those digital nomads that would like to stay in the country for a little bit longer. So in this video, I will introduce Bulgaria to you as a digital nomad destination. What to do, where to live, cost of living, digital nomad infrastructure, so you can make an informed decision if Bulgaria is the right next destination for you. And of course, the visa options. If you want to jump to any part of the video, you will find the timestamps down below in the description. The Republic of Bulgaria is a small Balkan nation in southeastern Europe. It borders Romania to the north, Serbia and North Macedonia to the west, Greece and Turkey to the south, and the Black Sea to the east. Bulgaria is commonly accepted as the oldest country in Europe, with the Neolithic Karanovo culture having settled here as early as 6,500 years BC. Since then, Bulgaria has become a cultural melting pot with Greek, Slavic, Ottoman and Persian cultures, all having left their imprint on the country. Bulgaria is part of the EU, but not the Schengen zone, which makes it a perfect place for digital nomads that want to wait out their Schengen clock. Check this video up here if you would like to know more about entry and re-entry into the Schengen zone. Bulgaria will, however, at some point most likely join the Schengen zone, so depending on when you watch this video, check out the status of that. Even though Bulgaria is part of the EU, it is also not part of the Eurozone. Its currency is the Bulgarian lev. Currently, $1 equals 1.85 Bulgarian lev. The language spoken in Bulgaria is Bulgarian, and like many other countries in the region, Bulgaria uses the Cyrillic alphabet, which was actually developed and invented in Bulgaria, with Bulgarian being the first Slavic language to actually being written. It would probably be helpful to memorize at least a few words written in the Cyrillic language so you can recognize the items that you need on a daily basis, since Bulgarians are very proud of their language. When it comes to the spoken language, however, at least amongst the younger generation and in the bigger cities, English is commonly spoken, so you should be able to get around. And if you don't, or if you're on the countryside, just use Google Translate and your hands and feet. When it comes to the weather, Bulgaria has continental climate, which means it has warm summers and cold winters. This allows you to spend beautiful days by the beaches of the Black Sea during summer and go skiing in Bansko during winter. Let's move on to digital nomad infrastructure, meaning things you as a digital nomad need in a destination to be able to live your lifestyle. First of all, let's talk about the most important thing for you to be able to work remotely: internet. Internet speeds and connection reliability in the capital Sofia are consistently ranked among the fastest in the world. You will also find plenty of co-working spaces with reliable internet in the bigger cities. Infrastructure. Bulgaria has several airports, but the biggest one, and the one you'd be most likely to arrive at, is the one in the capital Sofia. When it comes to traveling around in Bulgaria, however, infrastructure can be a bit of a challenge at times. While renting a car, for example, will provide you with the most flexibility, the condition of Bulgarian roads is a rather common complaint, so be prepared for that if you choose this option. Another option is train travel. This option will take some time, as the trains in Bulgaria are relatively slow, but it allows you to see a lot of the beautiful country while traveling. The big cities are all connected to the railway network, and trains are also, in many cases, the most budget-friendly option. A very common way to travel in Bulgaria, both between the bigger cities, but also if you want to discover some of the more rural areas, therefore is by bus. Bulgaria has an extensive bus network, and in the bigger cities, public transport is a really good and affordable option. Sofia has a subway as well as great bus service. In most other cities, buses, trolleybuses and trams are the most common public transport options. Taxis are also relatively inexpensive, but a common taxi scam in the Balkans is to not put the meter on, so make sure it is running if you take a cab. Otherwise, you will be overcharged significantly. When it comes to accommodation, you can find all the typical accommodation options in Bulgaria. Hostels, hotels, Airbnbs, as well as a couple of nice co-living spaces, specifically geared towards the needs of digital nomads, both in the bigger cities and in Bansko. Cost of living. Cost of living is quite affordable in Bulgaria. However, keep in mind that in order to benefit from these prices, you should buy local produce because imported stuff is usually a lot more expensive. As always, my numbers come from Numbeo and I have translated them to US dollar to make it easier for everyone watching to convert them to their own currency. An inexpensive meal in a restaurant will cost you approximately $8.12. A cappuccino will cost you $1.68. A monthly transport pass will cost you $27.05. Taxi starting tariff is $1.08 and a 1 kilometer taxi ride will cost you about 54 cents. Waiting in traffic for 1 hour will cost you $8.12, and utilities for an 85 square meter apartment will cost you around $116 a month. Internet will come in at $12.15 a month, and a one-bedroom apartment in the city center would cost you approximately $356. Keep in mind that these are rental prices. Airbnbs are being more expensive, so a good way to save money on cost of living is to stay in Bulgaria longer so that you can actually profit from the rental prices. A one-bedroom apartment outside of the city center, on the other hand, would cost you around $269. Now that we've established how to get around in Bulgaria and how much it would cost you, let's talk a bit about where to stay, where to meet digital nomads, and where to, have your home base. First of all, the capital, Sofia. Aside from Bansko, which is super popular with digital nomads and which we will also take a look at a little bit later, Sofia is probably the most popular amongst digital nomads. Sofia might not have been on the radar of digital nomads for that long, but it is continuously growing in popularity. And with its 1.3 million inhabitants, it is by far the biggest city in Bulgaria. It has fantastic digital nomad infrastructure in terms of co-living and co-working spaces, so that you can connect to other digital nomads. There are plenty of cafes, restaurants, bars, clubs, and more to hang out after a hard day's work. Internet speed is absolutely fantastic, and it is a super beautiful city. You will have something new to discover on a daily basis. Not surprisingly, with Bulgaria being the oldest country in Europe, Sofia is jam-packed with historical sites and jaw-dropping architecture to discover, since it's been inhabited since at least 7000 BC. And when you need some time in nature, the Vitosha Mountains are right outside its gate, allowing you to get lost in nature and take a break from the busy city life. Alternatively, the beaches of the Black Sea are just 3.5 hours car drive away, and perfect for a weekend trip. When it comes to neighborhoods, the city center is probably the best choice for digital nomads, since everything is in walking distance. Shops, restaurants, nightlifes, cafes, and co-working spaces, of course. You will also have good access to public transport if you wish to travel to other parts of the city. Once you need a break from work, here are some fun things to discover in Sofia. Shopping, cafes and restaurants can be found on Vitosha Street, which is the main shopping pedestrian street of Sofia. And then, of course, there are all the historical sites in Sofia you can't miss. For example, St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. This is one of the largest Eastern Orthodox cathedrals in the world, with a 45-meter high gold-plated dome. To see some influences from Roman times, head to the Rotunda St. George, which was built in the 4th century and is the only fully preserved building from the time where Sofia was part of the Roman Empire. If you prefer water activities, on the other hand, head to Pancharevo Lake, where you can swim in a pool fed by hot water from natural springs in the area. If you prefer smaller cities, but you still want a tight-knit digital nomad group, head to Bansko, where digital nomads and the co-working spaces actually organize a new get-together every evening. Bansko is a little mountain town located in the Pirin mountain range. It sits at the bottom of Vihran mountain and is the perfect place if you are looking for a strong digital nomad community, great digital nomad infrastructure, and plenty of nature and outdoor opportunities. Skiing, mountain biking, hiking, you name it. There are plenty of ways to get into nature here. The area is also home to some pretty impressive local wildlife: grey wolf, brown bear, and plenty of tortoise, snakes, and bird species, to name just a few. Bansko has a wide variety of co-working spaces and cafes for you to work from. It is also home to one of the most important and fastest growing digital nomad get-togethers, Bansko Nomad Fest. This and the great digital nomad infrastructure make it one of the most popular places for digital nomads in Bulgaria. And when you're done with working, let's talk about some things to do in Bansko. Bansko itself, even though small, has quite a few restaurants and bars you can visit. The very active digital nomad community also organizes plenty of get-togethers, so you won't get bored. If you'd rather spend some time outside of the village, Pirin National Park might be just the place for you. It's a hiker's paradise with more than 70 glacier lakes hidden between the jagged peaks. Aside from hiking, Pirin National Park is also a fantastic place to go mountain biking, horseback riding, or canyoning. And if you need to tend your sore muscles after all that outdoor activity, head to the small village of Varna, which is just about a 10-minute drive from Bansko. Varna has several thermal pools and bathhouses in which you can relax and recover. Not far from Bansko, you will also see the Rila mountain range, which is home to the highest peak in Bulgaria and is another great spot for hiking and skiing excursions. But not only that, Rila also has a lot of cultural gems on offer. Small villages nestled away in the mountains, and the absolutely beautiful Rila Monastery, which is definitely worth a visit. Rila Monastery is not only the largest monastery in the country, it is also a work of art. The buildings themselves pay homage to the traditional craftsmanship of the area. And once you go inside, you can marvel at the detailed, colorful religious frescoes that cover the walls ground to ceiling. Plus, there are plenty of other religious artifacts to admire. The monastery is still an active place of worship with around 60 monks living there full-time, so keep that in mind when it comes to your dress code for the day if you plan to visit there. Another really special activity in the Rila Mountains is the hike of the 7 Rila lakes. It is a beautiful, scenic hiking loop that takes you past 7 lakes nestled between the mountains. Once you made it to the highest viewpoint, you will have a stunning view over all 7 lakes. Let's move on to the third largest city of the country, Varna, which is also called the Pearl by the Black Sea. Varna is located on the Black Sea coastline, which makes it perfect for digital nomads that would like to enjoy life by the beach. Varna has been a very popular vacation spot, first with national tourists, but more and more also for Europeans during their summer vacation. So keep in mind that it might get quite crowded during the peak month. Like so many cities in the area, Varna has been inhabited since the 6th century BC, when the Greeks founded the settlement Odessans here. As a result, Varna has a lot of interesting historical sites to discover for when you get tired of enjoying beach life. You can discover some of the numerous ancient ruins in the area, for example the Roman baths, the stone forest, and Aldasa Monastery, or visit some of Varna's interesting museums. And don't miss the Varna Necropolis, which is where the world's oldest gold jewelry was found. But also work life is easy for digital nomads in Varna. There are co-working spaces to provide you with a desk, internet, and the possibility to connect with other digital nomads. And of course, there are many cafes that you can set up shop in. And as a last recommendation for digital nomads to set up a home base at, let's look at Plovdiv, which has actually been crowned Capital of Culture in 2019. Not only is Plovdiv a very interesting city for historic enthusiasts, with ancient ruins organically integrated into the cityscape, or rather, the city organically built around these pre-existing witnesses of culture long past, it is also an up-and-coming tech hub. This, of course, makes it a great place to be for many an entrepreneurial digital nomad to network and make new connections. Of course, it offers all the digital nomad infrastructure necessary: co-working spaces, cafes, internet, good accommodation, but also many other comforts one would expect from a bigger city: restaurants, bars, museums, entertainment. Plovdiv is also surrounded by quite a few wineries that you can visit, with many grapes growing here being local variety that only grow in Bulgaria. Of course, these wineries also offer wine tastings if you are interested. Bulgaria is actually one of the oldest wine producers in the world. Now that we have looked at where you can live in Bulgaria, let's take a closer look at other things you can do in Bulgaria in your free times: day trips, short trips, and the like. Bulgaria is, for example, one of the biggest producers of rose oil. And it is produced in Rose Valley. Drive here to admire the kilometer-long fields of sweetly smelling roses. Learn about the production process and buy some locally pressed oil. During the first week of June, you can be part of the Kazanlak Rose Festival. That is a very popular tourist attraction here. During the festival in particular, you can participate in picking rose petals and distilling them, all while in the midst of a beautiful display of culture with music, dancing, food and wine tastings, and so much more. Well, with this introduction to Bulgaria, I really hope I could convey what an interesting country this is and that it is absolutely worth a visit. So let's move on to the visa options and see how you can do so. The easiest visa, of course, if you don't wish to stay past 90 days, is a tourist visa, which, depending on your passport, you can gain upon entry. You might not even need one, or you will have to visit an embassy to apply for one. Keep in mind that, as I stated in the beginning, Bulgaria is part of the EU but not the Schengen zone. If you wish to stay past those 90 days, you can apply for long-term residency. Now, while Bulgaria does not have an official digital nomad visa, it has a long-stay visa that could be suitable for digital nomads, though the process of getting it is a little bit of a hassle. Bulgaria offers a freelance visa that is valid for 6 to 12 months and that can be extended. Unfortunately, before you can apply for that, you will have to apply for a freelance permit through the Bulgarian Employment Agency. And to get the freelance permit, you will have to present the employment agency with a detailed plan of your freelance activities and how these freelance activities will benefit Bulgaria. To do so, you will need the following documents: a detailed plan of activities for the duration of the permit, documents to prove your academic achievements, a B1 Bulgarian language certificate, proof that you have at least 2 years experience in your chosen field of work, and proof that you have sufficient financial funds to exercise these activities. Once you've received the freelance permit, you can then make an appointment at the Bulgarian agency to apply for the long-stay visa. For this, you will need the following documents: a passport-sized photo, proof that you can financially support yourself, for example, through bank statements, health insurance, proof of accommodation, a passport, of course, and a clean background check. The application will take between 1 and 2 months to process and will cost you about $241. Once you arrive in Bulgaria, you will then have to go to the Bulgarian Migration Agency to pick up your residence permit. Well, and that, dear friends, is Bulgaria for digital nomads in a nutshell. If I could now wake your interest in the area, check out last week's video up here about Serbia for digital nomads and stick around for the coming videos about Hungary for digital nomads and Bulgaria for digital nomads. With that said, thanks so much for today. Thanks for your time. I'll see you here in the next one. Bye bye.